Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Hi, I'm Jay Fallon. Thank you for listening to The Slippery Slope. So, there's a couple of stories that came out this week or the last 7 days relating to police in specifically New South Wales. Obviously, we had the outcome for police officer Christian White, the champion who decided, hey, let's go and taser a great grandmother, a 95-year-old woman, and then surprised when things didn't turn out that well. Had a bit of a brain malfunction. I'm assuming at 3 a.m. in the morning, and just said, bugger it, bang, pulls the taser out. She falls back, cracks her head. Um, Not to make light of the situation, but yeah, falls back, cracks her head, gets a bleed on the brain apparently, and passes away from these injuries. All caused because he just had an absolute brain malfunction. I'm assuming. I don't know how else to explain it because there is nothing in police protocol which would suggest that you should be doing what he has done. Absolutely nothing. So I just want to go through this quickly. And then there's another story that came out again in New South Wales. And now maybe I'm just a little cynical. I have been called cynical at times, but I read this other story. I thought, oh, I wonder whether this is just New South Wales government and New South Wales police trying to put out a bit of a feel good story. Say, hey, look at this. We have a hero cop. So we might have some absolute numbskulls getting around, nitwits, but we've got a hero cop. Remember this fella? Anyway, we'll talk about this story later. I'm going to bring up first off, just go through the stuff that's happened with former New South Wales police officer Christian White.
The court has found Claire Nowlan died as a result of the actions of a police officer. This should never have happened. The officer's employment is currently under review, and that process is underway. His employment, in terms of his ongoing employment, is also subject to a legal process, and that will follow, and I expect to consider that matter next week.
Okay, there we have police commissioner, New South Wales police commissioner. I think her name's Webb, isn't it? She's a weak and feckless leader. Just my opinion. Okay, don't I don't think she's a great leader at all. She has underperformed consistently. Anyway, that's what happened. So in the meantime, so basically, what happened? The Australian police officer was found guilty of killing the 95-year-old woman. So he's been sacked. Christian White. So he had been suspended from the force without pay until he was found guilty of manslaughter last week. And then what's happened? So New South Wales Police Commissioner Karen Webb confirmed on Tuesday that Monaro Police District Officer Christian James Samuel White had been sacked by the state force. I've determined that I do not have confidence in the officer's suitability to continue as a police officer, she said in a statement. I've spoken with the family of the 95-year-old victim involved in this matter and advised them of my decision. So the decision by New South Wales Police's most senior commander, comes 5 days after a jury found that White was guilty of manslaughter after 20 hours of deliberation. And then it goes on, the story continues on with all the other stuff that happened. Obviously, we know, she had the walker. She could barely move. She stood up. She had a steak knife in her hand as well, moving around with the walker. Basically, he stood there talking to her for a couple of minutes. There was another officer, a senior officer who was in the room who apparently she attempted to grab the knife, made a bit of a meal out of it, just completely stuffed the whole operation up. And then White felt the need to taser her. Absolutely no idea why you would do that. Like I said, a bit of a brain malfunction, maybe something to do with being called out at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, and just being tired and thinking, well, stuff this, I want to get and go home. Anyway, who knows why he did it, but it all went pear-shaped. The worst outcome possible for obviously Claire Nolan and her family. Claire Nolan, how you pronounce the name. Anyway, so he was found guilty. Unfortunately for him, he is going to end up having to spend some time in the big house. So let's see how that goes for him. But found guilty, and I don't think there was any way around him being found guilty. There's nothing else you could do. You look at all the facts. You know, the case that him and his defense team were trying to put forward, it just seemed weak. There was nothing to it. I don't know how you could defend, with a serious face, how you could really defend his actions. And then the things that he was putting out there in his defense really made no sense. Absolutely no sense. Anyway, so we had that story come out, and I was thinking, oh, okay, a bit of the bad news. And then this next story came out. I was reading this, and I thought, well, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? New South Wales police have had a lot of bad stories just in the last couple of months. Obviously, they had this fella tasering the old lady. They had another story coming out about supposed racist issues within the force, how it's apparently rife within New South Wales police force, racism, I think sexism as well. There are a couple of articles going on about that. But then we have this story come out about the Lint siege hero cop. Now, if you remember, the Lint siege happened, was it almost 10 years ago? Anyway, I'll bring up the story. We can read it together. But I just thought, I'm a little bit cynical, as I said, but I thought, well, I wonder what the reason is why all of a sudden this story is come out. So, unmasked, Lint siege hero cop wins battle to reveal his identity. Came out in the Courier Mail. So, the hero of the Lint Cafe siege who shot dead Man Monis has finally been unmasked after a frustrating and emotionally devastating 9-year battle to have his identity restored. So Ben Besant told the Saturday Telegraph. Can I read? I don't know. The Saturday Telegraph after his monumental New South Wales Supreme Court battle victory on Friday afternoon that finally today was a good day. I have not only been given my name back, but my dignity and my higher purpose in life, the former New South Wales Police Tactical Operations Unit officer said. This is a victory, not just for me, but for our first responders and military personnel. It means we can have a real discussion about PTSD and what has to be done to keep first responders well and in work. There he is here, the police officer in question, Ben Besant. Okay. So, Mr. Besant's legal fight, backed by the Seven Network Spotlight program, came to an end on Friday afternoon when the New South Wales coroner lifted the suspension order, which had prevented him from ever telling his story without the pseudonym Officer A. The order was made at the time to protect him, but over the years became a shackle, further exacerbating the PTSD that cost him his career, his marriage, and his home. In 2022, Mr. Besant gave heartbreaking detail of the memories that haunted him, including the visions of Sydney barrister Katrina Dawson dying in his arms. She was looking into his eyes. Her eyes were blue, just like his children's. She was killed by police bullet fragments after officers stormed the building. Monis, who was also killed when Mr. Besant and the Alpha team broke through the front entrance of the cafe at 2:13 a.m. on December 16, 2014, after Monis, armed with a pump-action shotgun and the threat of a backpack bomb, shot dead cafe manager Tori Johnson. Besant told the Sydney Telegraph earlier this year that he wanted to tell his whole story, the 17 hours of horror, what happened to him in the years following, and what still haunts him to this day. Most importantly, he wanted to be able to look other first responders crippled with PTSD right in the eye and let them hear and see for themselves that there is a way forward. Here, I think I completely agree with the whole PTSD. There's not enough spoken about it with first responders. And I remember when at extreme early parts when I was in the academy, and they taught us about compartmentalization, which now I realize is the biggest load of crap ever. You cannot compartmentalize these things. I remember our sergeant telling us, "Yep, this is what you do. You go to all these things, all these jobs. You see all this extremely confronting situations, and how do you not let that bleed into your personal life? Well, you compartmentalize it. You treat your mind like it's different compartments, different little files, and you just file it away in this area, and you compartmentalize this, and then when you're home with your family, that's this part of your brain, and it doesn't work. I know it doesn't work because I suffered from PTSD, not anyway, and it doesn't work. What happens? You're asleep at night, and you wonder why. You wonder why you have the same recurring dream about dead bodies or dead whatever situation, whatever horrific situation you're trying to suppress. Compartmentalization doesn't work, but they still teach it in the military, I believe. I think they still do. I don't know if they still teach it at QPS. It's, to me, stupid. So yeah, good on him. I'm grateful. I think it's a good thing that he can stand up, that he wants to stand up there and talk about PTSD and how it's affected him. And he is a hero police officer, I think. But am I just being a little cynical where I wonder who was behind the scenes from New South Wales government, from New South Wales police force, maybe having a little chat to the coroner saying, hey, New South Wales government, New South Wales police, we need a feel good story. We need to remind the public of the good that New South Wales police do, because we've had way too many stories showing how useless some of the officers are, or how bad, how just absolutely bad. We want to deflect from the racism accusations that are going on. We want to deflect from Adrian White and his, just bugger at tasering, killing a 95-year-old. We want to deflect from all that. We need a feel good story. We need to remind the public that, when this siege went on almost 10 years ago, that our hero police went in and saved the day. So how about we put this fella back in the news? Poor fella's been fighting for this for years, and now he gets to tell his story properly. So good on him for what he's trying to do. I'm a little cynical. I just wonder whether there's someone in the government, New South Wales government, behind the scenes, pulling the strings, saying, hey, we need a feel good story. We need to remind people of how good the police are, how good they can be, how we do actually need them. We need to put them back in the spotlight, in a good spotlight for once. I don't know. Am I just being a little cynical, or, hey, that's just my opinion. Okay, let me know what you think about the manslaughter charge with the great grandmother tasering. What amount of time do you think is reasonable for this officer to spend in jail? I'm a little torn about how long he should be spending in jail. Obviously, he can't spend any time in general population. He'll just be killed by other inmates. But let me know how long you think. What would be a reasonable amount of time to serve for his, absolutely stupid reaction, his stupid actions that's resulted in the ending of this 95-year-old's life. And let me know what you think about the Lint Siege hero cop story, about the sudden unmasking. I think it's a good thing. I am just very cynical, and I think there's people behind the scenes who have pushed this story because they want a good news story to come out. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now.